Good day, students. Welcome to this JSS 1 Basic Science lesson on the cell, its structure and functions. The cell is the basic unit of life. Every living organism, from the smallest bacterium to the largest blue whale, is made of cells. Your own body contains approximately 37 trillion cells. Understanding the cell is the foundation of all biology. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to define a cell, describe Robert Hooke's discovery, identify and describe the main parts of a generalized animal cell, state the function of each cell organelle, and understand the levels of organization from cell to organism. Let us begin. What is a cell? The cell is the structural and functional unit of life. It is the smallest unit capable of carrying out all the basic processes of life independently. Discovery of the cell. Robert Hooke, 1665. Using an early microscope, Hooke examined a thin slice of cork and saw tiny box-like compartments which he called cells, from the Latin cella meaning small room or cubicle. These were actually dead plant cell walls. Antony van Leeuwenhoek designed more powerful microscopes, first to observe living microorganisms, animalcules, in pond water. Cell theory, Schleiden and Schwann, 1838–1839. 1. All living things are made of one or more cells. 2. The cell is the basic unit of life. 3. All cells come from pre-existing cells. Fierkel, 1855, Omnes cellula e cellula. Levels of biological organization. Cell tissue organ system organism. Example, muscle cell muscle tissue stomach organ, digestive system human being. Unicellular organisms, made of one cell only. Examples, amoeba, paramecium, bacteria, euglena. Multicellular organisms, made of many cells. Examples, plants, animals, fungi. Parts of a generalized animal cell and their functions. Cell membrane, plasma membrane, a thin, flexible layer surrounding the cell. Function, controls what enters and leaves the cell, selectively permeable, holds the cell together, allows cell communication. Cytoplasm, a jelly-like fluid, cytosol, that fills the cell between the membrane and nucleus. Function, medium in which chemical reactions occur, suspends organelles, site of many metabolic activities. Nucleus, the largest organelle, surrounded by a nuclear membrane with nuclear pores, contains chromosomes, DNA. Function, controls all cell activities. The control center contains genetic information for heredity, directs protein synthesis. Nucleolus, a dense region inside the nucleus. Function, makes ribosomal RNA for ribosome production. Mitochondria, singular, mitochondrion bean-shaped structures with a folded inner membrane, cristae. Function, site of aerobic respiration, produces energy, ATP, called the powerhouse of the cell. Ribosome, tiny granules attached to rough endoplasmic reticulum or free in cytoplasm. Function, site of protein synthesis, makes proteins using instructions from DNA. Endoplasmic reticulum, a network of membrane channels/tubes through the cytoplasm. Rough ear, with ribosomes transport proteins made by ribosomes. Smooth ear, no ribosomes makes lipids, fats, detoxifies substances. Golgi apparatus, Golgi body stacked membrane sacs. Function, packages and processes proteins, produces lysosomes and secretion vesicles, the post office of the cell. Lysosomes, membrane-bound sacs containing digestive enzymes. Function, break down old organelles, food particles, and foreign materials, suicide bags of the cell. Vacuoles, membrane-bound spaces for storage. Animals have small, temporary vacuoles. Plants have one large central vacuole, see next lesson. Centrioles, cylindrical structures, absent in higher plants. Function, form the spindle fibers during cell division, mitosis. 3 examination questions. Question 1. Match each cell organelle to its nickname and function. A. Mitochondrion powerhouse site of aerobic respiration, produces ATP. B. Nucleus control center directs all cell activities, contains DNA. C. Ribosome protein factory site of protein synthesis. D. Golgi apparatus post office packages and secretes cell products. E. Lysosome suicide bag contains digestive enzymes, destroys unwanted materials. Question 2. Why does the cell membrane need to be selectively permeable? The cell needs to allow useful substances in oxygen, glucose, amino acids, and prevent harmful substances from entering. It also needs to allow waste products out, carbon dioxide, urea. If the membrane were not selective, the cell would lose vital contents and be flooded by harmful materials. It would not be able to maintain homeostasis, internal balance. Question 3. A student says the nucleus is the most important organelle because the cell cannot survive without it. Do you agree? Explain. Partly, the nucleus is certainly the control center, and without it, no long-term cell function is possible. However, some mature human cells lack a nucleus, e.g., mature red blood cells. They lose their nucleus to carry more hemoglobin, and they can still function for about 120 days. All organelles are interdependent. Without mitochondria, the cell would have no ATP energy, which is equally fatal. 3 common mistakes. Mistake 1. Confusing cell membrane and cell wall. The cell membrane is present in all cells, animal and plant. The cell wall is found only in plant cells, fungi, and bacteria, not in animal cells. The cell wall provides rigid structure. The cell membrane controls transport. Mistake 2. Saying mitochondria produce energy. More precisely, mitochondria convert chemical energy stored in glucose into a usable form of energy called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Energy is not created, it is converted. Mistake 3. Thinking the cell is simply a bag of fluid. The cell is a highly organized, complex system of specialized organelles, each with distinct roles. The organization within a single cell is more complex than any machine humans have ever built. Summary. Cell, basic structural and functional unit of life. Discovered by Robert Hooke, 1665. Cell theory. All living things are cells or made of cells, all cells from pre-existing cells. Levels, cell tissue organ system organism. Key organelles, cell membrane, selectively permeable boundary, cytoplasm, liquid medium, nucleus, control center, DNA, mitochondria, ATP/energy, powerhouse, ribosomes, protein synthesis, rough ER, protein transport, smooth ER, lipid synthesis, Golgi apparatus, packaging/secretion, lysosomes, digestion, suicide bag, vacuoles, storage. Animal cells have centrioles, cell division, plant cells do not have centrioles. Next lesson covers plant cells. For homework, A. Draw and label a generalized animal cell. B. State the function of ribosome, mitochondrion, Golgi apparatus, lysosome. C. Explain the levels of organization from cell to organism using one specific body system. Attempt a quiz on your LMS. Keep exploring the world around you. Visit Litech Academy at academy.litech.com.ng. Until next time.